Ladies and gentlemen, this is Zack Ward, and you are listening to The Break It Down Show.
And now, The Break It Down Show with John and Pete.
Yeah, man.
Fuck yeah.
Zack Ward is in the house.
I love it.
Actor, writer, producer, director, everyman filmmaker.
Yeah, that's right.
If you don't mind, we got to get something out of the way here, and that was that you are in the lexicon of everyone's Christmas experience, having been in Christmas Story.
Yes.
But you've been in a million things since then. And anybody who's been paying attention would see that you've done all kinds of TV.
But I think Christmas Story, as Scut Farkus in Christmas Story, sort of set the path. Because if you notice in a lot of my films, I get killed. It's sort of like there's a comeuppance, a desire to spank me.
Isn't that fun?
It's, I think when I actually do die in real life, my attitude, I'll be like, nailed it.
Yes.
I think there's going to be like a supercut edit of all my deaths because I've died like maybe 50 times in films and TV shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, if those are your last words, that is sweet, sweet poetry.
Right.
Nailed it. That would be great.
Yeah.
And I want to say thanks for doing what you did, man, because you've given us all a little treat on Christmas time. And now for us, especially,
and it keeps
it'll
on
be
giving.
sweeter. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my grandkids, when I have grandkids, we're going to sit down and
we're
going to watch it. And so, it was a long time ago and it's kind of defined your career in some ways, but you've done so much more. We'd rather talk about all the more stuff.
Right. And I'll be honest, like being part of Christmas Story is a huge honor. The thing is, that movie's been playing now since 34 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
And, I love doing Transformers and Resident Evil Apocalypse and Almost Famous, but I don't think in 34 years anybody's going to be doing 24-hour marathons of them, not because they're not great movies in their own right, but because there's something timeless about what Bob Clark and Gene Shepard did. And so, Lightning in a Bottle, I can't really claim much ownership over it. I was 13 years old.
Yeah.
I was a dicky kid.
They brought you in.
And
you were good at what you did.
I was good at what actually, the thing is, I got the shit beat out of me all the time because I went to 8 different schools before junior high.
Wow.
And, my dad, was, Golden Gloves. And, although he didn't live with us, that was the first present I had when I was 6 years old was a stand-up speed bag. And, so handing out a beating to bullies was kind of what I did.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I was a new kid named Zach with red hair,
Right.
with no dad, didn't play hockey, grew up in Canada, and my dog was a miniature poodle named Tinkerbell.
Oh, jeez.
Come on.
Dude, well, yeah,
That's
funny.
a lot, man.
Yeah, dude, yeah. It's like, I'm just an ass whooping waiting to happen.
One of those things.
One of those.
Just
is enough.
one.
Just
The
one.
first thing you did when you left the house was drop your gloves.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
already going to happen.
Yeah,
They were already
exactly.
doing this. Where are your gloves?
What do you
Already
want for
dropped
Christmas? Headgear. That was it.
Yeah. It's like the first day of jail in the day yard every day for Zack Ward. He just had to punch somebody in the mouth leaving the house.
That's it. So, for when I did Christmas Story, for me, I was imitating the bullies.
Yeah.
So,
So you knew what you wanted to create because you knew what you hated about
I knew
these
what
guys.
I hated the most.
Yeah.
I knew what I hated about them.
How to
so much.
antagonize.
Yeah.
How to just be a
dicky
dick.
they were. They're such dicks.
Yeah.
And it was always the guys who, like, him and his buddies are picking on me and I'm by myself.
Right.
With a miniature poodle.
Yeah.
So, and they weren't always that tough when I got them alone.
Yes. As
They kinda
is
backed
often
down.
the case.
Yeah. But,
Especially with somebody who's willing to go.
Yeah, push and shove and willing shows up. Look
Yep.
out. Someone's going to get knocked on their back. Yeah.
But they, I got to be part of something that was amazing, and I don't think that's ever going to change. And I bet you that'll be my 8 seconds when I do pass the mortal coil
that's
to be
all
like,
right.
today, Zack Ward, better known as Scut Farkus, passed away.
Right.
And then people hoist one beer and be like, yeah, that guy was a dick.
Yeah.
And then,
Boy, was he good at being a dick.
boy, he was such a dick. I love that guy.
In a movie though, full of memorable characters, your character does stand out, so that's, you nailed it. That story is great. But like you said, you've not stopped working.
Right.
The funny thing is you just made me imagine your passing and, I'm sitting in a bar and hopefully Pete and I are hoisting one in your honor. You died at 105.
There we go.
And we're like, man,
Yeah.
that was like 97 years ago. And
They're still playing the movie.
That's right. We're looking around the bar at guys going, wait a minute. That guy was that guy?
Yeah.
Well, I'll make it easy because I'll just dye my hair red.
Yes.
Really badly, like those people down in Miami Beach do it blue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Please do that anyway.
And I'll be showing up. I'm sure I'll be at these malls like, Scut Farkus is here to open up the new Chili's.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, would you be like the old Lone Ranger?
Yeah, I brought my own big scissors.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I got the hat.
You got the
dude.
hat, right?
I got the
Yeah,
hat.
you're like, I'll show up at your Ralph's when you open it.
Happy
got
bar
the
mitzvah, Yahshua.
Exactly.
You still have the hat.
Actually, it's not the original hat. It was given to me by a friend of mine from Toronto who was making stuff out of recycled fur coats, and she put the faces on the front of the hats, and all because that's what was in the movie. And the people who were buying the hats were like, "It's staring at me. Make it look away."
Yeah.
So she kept one and gave it to me. And so I have that, and I wear it when I do. I know this sounds ridiculous. When I do parades,
Right.
I've sat in so many fire trucks waving at people freezing their asses off on the East Coast.
Wow.
And I was like, "Hey, this Scut Farkus. I'm so cold now, I can't feel my face." So I've done that. I also have all the action figures. So
Wow.
I sued the company because they're dicks and they stole my likeness. They were fraud. And then they illegally used my likeness, and so in 2.5 years of court, I proved that I own the rights to my own likeness.
Right.
Because I was the only member of A Christmas Story who didn't have a merchandising rider on his contract.
Wow.
Because originally, I was a sidekick, not the bully. So
Right. So they didn't prepare for you to be a principal.
No.
But you were the dickiest
Well, that's
one.
what happened is I showed up and I had auditioned on videotape. And so I never met Bob Clark until I showed up on set. And then we walk on and they go, here's your Yano, here's your Grover Dill, and here's your Scut Farkus. And I'm like a foot taller than Yano Anaya, who plays Grover
clearly
Dill.
a better bully.
I would say so. Bob Clark looks up and is like, you get his lines, he gets yours. So no money
Wow.
changed.
Yeah.
And Yano at the time was making like 10 times what I was
Yeah,
making. Because he was a kid from the Van Halen,
Sure.
got it hot for teacher.
Right.
He was I want my $2 in Better
That was
Off
him.
Dead. That's
Okay.
yeah, dude, that's him. So he was kind of a hot shit. And
Yeah.
that was my first film. And so it completely changed. All the lines changed. The rider never had a merchandising value. 'Cause
Okay.
now it's standard in contracts. Back then it was like, perhaps
It was a
you might-
special thing,
You
yeah.
might want to make the toys.
Right.
Because
They weren't going to make a toy of the guy who had no lines.
Dude, they weren't going to do it in Star Wars. Just that
Yeah.
went fucking sideways.
Right.
So, they weren't going to do it of me. So I own the rights to my likeness, and now I have 1,000 action figures in my garage that I.
So as
used to
part of the
raise.
settlement, they had to turn over the inventory.
I had
and
to
you
buy
got
them off
1,000.
them. They had to melt them all down, and
Oh.
I had to buy them off them. Cheap pricks. You'd think if you got caught with your hand in the cookie jar and your fucking pants down, you would end up you'd be a little bit contrite.
A little bit.
A little bit contrite, but no, there's no atonement with these bitches. They just get away with what they can. Thanks, sir. And, so I had to buy the rest of them, and here's the great benefit. I use them to raise money for charity to stop bullying.
Nice.
Wow.
Fuck
that is awesome.
Right? It's pretty cool. So it's the fact that I can sign one of those and raise $100 for a
Yeah.
charity on each one, and just give the finger to the company that I sued. Like, you didn't get to bully me.
Yeah.
Now I get
Yeah.
to help shut your shit down.
Sweet justice.
Sweet, sweet justice.
Yeah, man.
Sweet, sweet
So-
super sweet.
So the film that you just finished and released is called Restoration.
My girlfriend gave it the title. She's very proud of that.
All right.
Yeah.
So, and it's about a restoration of an old house?
Well, it is, but see, there's a duality to the meaning. So once
Okay.
you see the film, now I'm not going to call myself M. Night Shyamalan, but there's a good twist to this one. It's not as good as Sixth Sense, but it's damn better than Signs.
Well, that's probably true. Or The Village.
Or Woman in the Water.
Man,
Man, that was so weird.
that guy had one idea. He had 1.5 ideas.
But the first one, come on.
Yes.
Out
It was
of the
great.
park.
You know,
But,
when you hit one over the fence, they give you another at bat.
Dude,
and then another.
4.
and then they give you Avatar, and then we all go, oh. But okay, so Restoration is about husband and wife, Rebecca and Todd Jordan, who moved to a small town. She's there for her residency. She's just become a doctor. He's a general contractor, so they've moved into a new house, and he's renovating it. Use it as a proof of concept for what he can do as a general contractor.
He's showing off.
Oh, yeah, he's building his business from the inside out.
There we go.
And inside the walls, they find a diary that's been hidden there for 30 years.
Wow.
And when they open
This is
it
getting
up,
creepy.
Yeah, it is. When they open it up, they release a spirit.
Oh boy.
So take that from then on. And here's the coolest thing, though.
Now, before you tell us
Yeah.
the coolest thing, you wrote, directed, produced,
Acted
and acted in the film.
and edited, yeah.
And edited the film.
Yeah.
Man, and did you do all of that while riding a unicycle? Because that's the only thing
Yes,
left.
Exactly. Juggling and farting out the Star Spangled Banner. It was awesome. I didn't write it myself. My producing partner is James Cullen Bressick, and he and I produced them together and wrote them together. We actually did 2 movies back to back. Restoration was the first one. Then we did the next film was called Bethany, and Bethany that stars myself, Shannon Doherty, Tom Green, and that's Stephanie Estes, and that'll be coming out in September, October.
Okay.
And that might be getting a theatrical. It looks pretty good.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're doing these films completely independent, running and gunning, making the most out of because you've been in the huge blockbusters.
Yes.
You've been in Transformers but this is you, and pretty much not a one-man show, of course, but
No.
you're the sheriff.
But I'm the captain. You know, I that's the thing is working with James. There's no one person who gets it done, but I am the guy who pounds the pavement, raises the money, does the contracts, and then we get the team together. There's always got to be one inciting spark to motivate it to exist. Otherwise, it just languishes in woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Right.
Man, I had this great idea one time, and I wasn't so busy watching football, having this here beer. I totally would have made a movie and stuff.
And it would have been great.
It would have been great. I would have been awesome. Yeah,
It would have been better than the whatever it was that somebody
The
did
movie
while you
got-
weren't
that got
doing
made,
it.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, man.
I'm too pissy.
Well, the other thing is, I think, and I don't want to downplay, is that you're not only the instigator, but you're where the buck stops.
Yeah, which is both. I'll be honest with you. It sucks.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of fucking pressure. Especially when you get into the stuff that I love doing is, I love being on set. I love directing. I love acting. I love editing. The contract paperwork for setting all this stuff up to make sure you don't get sued because someone stubs their toe and doesn't like you that day.
Right.
That shit's exhausting. It just blows.
Not the fun part.
No, sir. That is not enjoyable whatsoever. But it is also the thing that you have to do.
Yeah.
So
that you can keep doing it.
And not just that, but you have a holy trust with your investors. They put up money, and your deal is, I'm gonna
Protect
kill
your money.
myself to protect your money and get your money back. So I have to make sure, number one, legally you're protected.
Yep.
I know this is not the sexy stuff people want to hear on the podcast, but you got to know how to set up your LLCs. And honestly, I'll save everybody a lot of money. You can go to LegalZoom if you want.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I ended up having to set up like 4 LLCs to protect different things, right? And a buddy of mine's a lawyer. And so I download the paperwork from the state to do it here in California.
Right.
I was looking at it, I was a little confused because some of the questions they seem
Kind of duplicate, kind of.
duplicitous in what
A little
their meaning
ambiguous.
is. Yeah. And you know that the problem is if you get it wrong, it goes there and they turn around and go, no, dummy, this is wrong. But it's a month and a half.
Yeah.
And usually when you're doing it, you don't have a fucking bunch of time to waste. So I just talked to my buddy and I was like, hey, can I go over this with your legal intern, whatever,
Right.
and just make sure I fill it out properly. Perfect. That cost me $80 and I got everything I needed.
Come on, dude.
$80. Took a month and a half, but it was through Christmas, eh? So I delivered it. No, it took like a month, man. And then freaking LegalZoom cost me like close to $400 a pop.
Right.
I had to do 2 more, and they took forever, and I had nothing but excuses.
Wow.
And for $80, find the information, figure it out. That'll help you, and set up the LLCs. Yeah, I don't want to go too far into LLC infrastructure because it sounds kind of boring.
Right. That's a different podcast.
Right. I just put myself to sleep. Sorry, John.
But the thing is, when people consider their passion for filmmaking, I want to be a filmmaker. I want to, and you think of all the things that are fun to do and what you're pointing a camera at and how you're going to light a shot and make it dramatic and move everybody's emotions. Well, guess what? In order to move everybody's emotions, you got to move the money around.
You got to do the
You got to
paperwork.
get everybody all signed up. You
You
got to
be
everything.
prepared for that audit that may or may not come, but you have to pretend it's going to by the IRS no matter what.
Yeah,
You have to be transparent.
sure.
Yeah. So that's yay.
And keep every slip of paper.
I have a
and all
semester and
that.
a half at community college, so I am probably the dumbest man in this room. But it's not my job is not to let that get in my way.
We'll give you a run for your money.
One of the two of us has snorted wasabi in the last week, and
In the last week.
It's what? Lotus Maslawi?
snorted wasabi
Oh,
for $1.
No, it was for $1 though.
for $1. There
Come
was
on.
a profit.
That's
wow.
right.
Yes.
It wasn't me. I had to throw that in. But when you describe the filmmaking process, it's a big part of it. And it's
Yeah, it's
something
huge.
everybody has to consider.
It's huge.
It is a business.
It's a very, very much a business. And if you drop that ball, you get in a lot of trouble. And I'm learning every time. That's the thing about filmmaking that really is amazing. And I'm sure you guys experience it with doing podcasts and the more people you talk to, you learn something all the time.
Oh, no doubt.
There's a great saying, I know what I know. I know what I don't know.
Yep.
And I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No,
Yeah,
it
I'm
makes
just going to
total
sit and
sense.
live with that for a minute.
It does.
Because
It's
that's heavy.
Like, it is fucking heavy. It's like, and I love that because if you open yourself to that attitude, and I don't want to sound overly spiritual here though, it's like you recognize that you can't know everything all the time. You make assumptions about the things you're ignorant of, and then you go, well, there's going to be things that are going to happen today I didn't know that I didn't know were going to happen. Or I didn't know that I didn't know them.
And those invisible things that you can't know about because you just don't know about them, they're going to bite you in the ass because the things.
Or they're going to give you a huge gift.
Right.
Or,
Or they're
that's
walking
true.
in and they change your life. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that was fucking awesome.
Had no idea.
I had
Didn't
no
see that
idea.
coming.
That's the way I look at it. Because
Okay.
sometimes if I get overwhelmed with the structure of fighting it out in this town and just sometimes you just want to put a gun in your mouth and pull the trigger. It's exhausting, dude.
Yeah.
And it's not like anyone knocks at the doors like, excuse me, sir, did you drop this giant pile of money and opportunity? Well, here you
Is
go.
this your wheelbarrow full of cash?
Yeah.
I declare it is. Yes.
So when you're originally from Toronto.
Yeah.
When did you move to Los Angeles?
Moved in 95.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was doing a TV series in Toronto called Boogie's Diner, which is as shitty as it sounds. It's kind of like Saved by the Bell type of stuff.
Okay.
But what was fucking hilarious is because it was a crap show, eh? And like no audience, 4 camera. James Marsden was on it back when he was Jimmy Marsden. He
Right.
played Cyclops.
Yeah.
Now he's a big star. Back then he's like, gosh, I'm excited to learn about acting. So that's how it shows you how long ago it was. There was a Canadian content requirement.
Wow.
So they're showing this, which should be like, it was a Saturday morning crap fest show
Right.
on Fox or something over here in the States. And in Canada, it was prime time between fucking Cheers and
Right.
Seinfeld.
Wow.
Dude. And it was so funny because it was not a good show. And I knew it. And we all knew it was like, meh, it's garbage.
Yeah.
And people I know would come up to me like, oh man, how's it going? Oh, hey, I saw your show.
And that's it.
That's the silence.
Yeah.
And I go, uh-huh. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, it's great you're working.
It's a show.
It's great. It's great you've got a job.
That's terrific.
Yeah, I'd done Boogie's Diner, and I just got to a point where I was like, I've done as much as I can in Toronto.
Yeah. I
There's
mean,
not-
by then you were in your early to mid 20s. Were you
I was-
still playing a teenager?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm a youngish looking guy without the facial hair.
Yeah.
And, so I was playing like 17, 18.
Yeah.
So I moved out here at 25 and, never looked back.
All right.
Yeah. Don't miss winter.
Yeah, I bet.
Man,
and the
no
town's
kidding.
been good to you.
It's been good. It's been good. I mean, I've been very fortunate and I've had a lot of ups and downs, you know?
Well, you came to this town and went for a ride. And
Yeah.
a lot of people come to the town and it takes them for a ride,
Yeah, that's true.
you know.
That's
So
true.
from that standpoint, I mean, you've been in a ton of things. You've been in great, successful TV shows, huge movies, terrific movies, large and small. And,
Yeah.
and it made you from an actor to a filmmaker.
Yep. It's been an education.
Yeah.
Do you prefer the filmmaking process over acting?
It depends. I mean, yeah, because I get this question a lot, and it's a weird one because they're very different experiences.
Sure.
You know, do you like video games better than movies?
With a whole different set of rewards, right? So,
Yeah, and so there is something. And now also on the movies that I produce, I'm also acting in.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I do that for financial reasons.
It makes sense.
I know that I'll show up on time.
right.
I know I won't throw
You
a
won't be
hissy
drunk.
fit. I won't be drunk.
Yeah.
Well, I might be drunk.
Sometimes.
This is so crazy.
You won't be drunk when the character's not supposed to be
Right.
drunk.
There we go. And also I, because of my history as an actor, I have a certain value for sales when it comes to distribution.
Right.
So I can bring in a certain value and not have to pay me anything on
Yes.
Yeah.
that. I'm a cheap ass. I work for myself and my boss is a dick.
We say the same thing
Yeah.
all the time. We work ourselves harder than anybody else can, for sure.
But, I love the experience of acting, especially when the writing is good and the moment is clean and it's actually building to an emotional value.
Excuse me. Thank you.
Bro, that is, that connects. And it's, you know, have you guys done any acting?
Yeah.
Okay. There's something, my favorite part of it.
I'm glad you didn't ask if we did it well, but
No, I
please
did.
carry
I
on.
figured you just let me know. When you're working with crews and you meet them and everybody's nice and cordial, but they're just being polite, and then you nail a scene, and then everybody opens their eyes a little bit and goes, "Damn, hey, good to see you, Zach." And then their attitude towards you changes, and it's great because my family's in the business. My mom's an actress. My older brother's a rig and grip. His father was a cinematographer, and you know. When actors are pissy little divas on set, I think they need a fucking spanking. They exhaust me. When you do your job like a fucking professional and you nail that emotional value and you carry that story arc, the crew can see it, they respect it, it makes them want to do more.
Right.
And you're now all part of the same team, and that's really the synergy I adore. So whether it's in front of the camera or behind the camera, that's the moment that gets me high.
It's the moment too where if they're a pro, they're going to bring their game. They're going to give you that emotion that you as the director, as the writer, need to make the thing go. So instead of having to say, well, I can unfuck that later on in editing, or let's do this, let's spend more money, let's do this again.
Right.
You got guys that nail the shot. And maybe they're a role player. Maybe they just do one thing.
You know what? It doesn't matter.
If they do it right.
Yeah,
It's-
professional's a professional.
Right.
Professional,
yeah.
professional. It's funny. There's people who you can, honestly, my attitude towards actors is they're like dogs.
Uh-huh.
In the sense that you can tell a smart dog or a dumb dog by the look in their eye. And if you can have a good conversation with an actor, then usually you can see what level of emotion or what type of value they can bring to set. I've been wrong a couple of times, but I've been right enough that the film, the leads of the movie are Emily O'Brien and Adrian Gaeta, the leads of Restoration, and they do an amazing job. Very short period of time that we shot it in, and not like I hired Adrian 3 days before we started shooting because the other guy fell out, and Adrian was not what everybody expected the look to be, but the honesty and the character drive was beautiful, and the chemistry was there.
That's what I think you pick up on. I mean, first of all, to your first point, that's why you get a 34-year career in this business, is because of the professionalism and because of delivering and connecting with everybody whose mission is to really deliver. And being an actor who's going to show up on set and, be the diva, like you said, there's only so much room for that. And it only lasts so long. But when you have a mission that's worthy of embracing, and you embrace it and you nail it and you kill it, and everybody starts to say, hey man, you know what? If you get a chance to work with Zach, you ought to, because that guy will deliver. It's like any other business.
It is.
And as much as people glorify film and television, it's like any other business. You have to be the guy who brings the goods. You have to be the guy that people can rely on. And you have to be the guy, especially in this business, who connects with the human experience.
Yeah, you have to be able to separate. You have to be kind of a cyborg, because you have to be emotional when it comes to your connection to your actors and the drive and the arc of the scene.
And then cut, let's go again. And you have to connect with it again.
Yeah, and you also have to know your technical aspects, your technology, in order to shoot it properly and prep it for post so that you can execute a good delivery value.
Right.
And your distributor will pick it up.
And your
Otherwise, you're
editor
out.
will thank you. And everybody says, man, not only did that guy nail it, but his face was always in the light. He always hit his mark. We could count on him for everything.
Right.
Well, that is an actor, but also as a director, that's when you're switching levels so many freaking times.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's a neat game.
I've always thought that, when you look at a baseball team and that has a player/coach, I've always thought, man, I don't know how that works. Because to some degree, you got to be the ball player who says, I'm going to get out there, I'm going to do a job. I get the bunt sign, I'm laying down a bunt. Mm-hmm. I'd love to swing away right here, and I think I could hit the ball to the right side and bring that guy in for first base. But coach gave me the bunt sign, I'm laying down the bunt. Now, if you're the coach, then you get to make the bad judgment call because you feel like swinging away.
Right.
If you're the director,
Right.
does that compromise your performance as an actor? Do you have your mind on too many things?
Yeah, a little bit, and that's why you have a support team. And then let's be honest, this is not an auteur business. There's not just one person saying, I did everything.
Yeah.
even Robert Rodriguez, who can run the camera himself
and do the music, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but he still can't do it without a bunch of other people.
Right.
So I don't want to present this as if I've done all this by myself. I haven't. So like when I'm in scenes in the film, my producing partner is behind the monitor, and
he's being your eyes and ears.
He's being my eyes and ears, and I'm checking the frame. Sometimes I'll have somebody stand in my place, just stand in, and I'll check the frame
just to understand the
through
shot.
Yeah, and set it up before I get in there. And then the weirdest though is I believe, and my performance came off really well in this. I got some really good reviews, which is nice. But if someone else was directing me, then there's a level, I don't want to say indulgence, but focus. Because then it would have been a focus just on the performance, not on all the other 30 things we had to do right now. And I would have been able, because my job with my actors is to make them feel like the rest of this doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You take your time.
Wow.
Because you've got your lines, and I run them. I mean, I make them do their job. I'm like, okay, guys, we're setting up over here. We've blocked it out. Hold your sides. This block, you just walk through it. Okay, that's what you're doing. Set down our marks. You're going to set up lighting. All right. We're setting that up. Guys, come over here. Let's speed our lines. I don't want any acting. Just speed it. Walk in a circle. Eat an orange. Blah, 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 blah. You shouldn't
get the repetition down.
Get it down so that you can actually listen when you're in the scene. Now, I have you up and ready to rock and roll. Now we're going to start shooting, and I'm going to talk to you, and I'm going to prep you for the scene. I'm going to bring you up to what just happened, where you are emotionally, where this is in the story and the edit. And, hey, none of this else matters.
Yeah.
If you like the show,
and you know you do,
send us some pictures of your movies.
Don't do that. Support the show.
There are 3 ways you can support us.
Number 1, go to iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts.
And leave a 5-star rating and review.
It helps with the show metrics and helps us get better placement. Number 2,
visit our website,
www.breakitdownshow.com.
We've got an Amazon and an eBay link.
Same Amazon, same eBay, you know and love, but they give us a little kickback when you get to their site from ours. And number 3, leave comments about the shows that you like. We want to know what you think, how you feel.
Tell us how to make the show better. We greatly appreciate it.
Now back to the show.
We like boobies.
What's happening inside you right now is where the story lives. Take your time, brother. And now I have to do that. Meanwhile, I'm like, I hope this motherfucker gets it. Because I have 40 other setups to do.
Yes.
You know, so I would have liked to have someone take care of me that way. But
the buck
bitch,
stops
bitch,
at you.
Wine, bitch, wine. What do you want? You know?
Right.
So,
the first thing I got from that was that you give the actors the nudging that they need so that you can get the performance out of them, and then you give them, you allow them enough space.
yeah. Let them play.
To do it and interpret. And then the other thing that you said that I hope people key in on was that you give them the repetition, you get the lines ingrained, you commit it to muscle memory, and that way they get a chance to listen.
Yeah. Because that's the thing is between dialogue is like music. If you played all the notes at the same time, it'd just be a fucking mess. So there's a space between every key. Mm-hmm. And when we're having a conversation, you're thinking about what I'm saying. You're thinking about what you're going to say. There's something going on in your eyes. You're having a response and gauging how you're going to, what you're going to say in response to what I said. So that's really where the acting lies, is in your face. And the words are an expression of what's going on in your mind and your heart. But it starts there and then it comes out.
Yeah.
So you got to let that live a little bit. You got to give it space to breathe.
Allow it to breathe.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty profound, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's nice that you are looking when you know, I think when you said that you can tell pretty much with the look in the actor's eyes. You know, it's not the look in the actor's eyes that gives off the technical ability to do all the stuff, hit the mark and all that stuff, but it's the indicator of how sensitive they are to their human intelligence.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the rest of it you can teach them. Mm-hmm. And there's sometimes when you're having a conversation with somebody, they're responding. You can tell they're just waiting for you to shut up so they can tell their thing. And the problem with that is if you're in a situation where you have to be a director or in charge of people and you're leading something, well, I don't want to talk to hear my own fucking voice. Because there's no point in it.
Yeah.
I'm only going to be talking to people in order to get something done. So if you're not listening to me, if you're saying, yeah, I've literally stopped in the middle of a conversation and turned to a gaffer and been like, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Since you know what the fuck I'm going to say, why don't you tell me how we're going to solve the generator problem and get them up to the location? You don't? Then shut the fuck up. Because otherwise, I don't have time to waste. Go sit in your car. I was just pissed. So, and you can see that with actors. If they're waiting to talk, then they're not going to listen. And you can't work with them.
That resonates. Gosh, that's leadership. That's comfort in your craft. You know, that kind of ability to pull that out of people, to hear it ahead of time, to save yourself money.
Yeah.
You know, like this guy's not listening. So let me stop what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And my work right now is focused on unfucking this guy before he fucks it up and I have to go back and unfuck up his fuck up.
Because he's not fucking listening.
Right.
Yeah.
And and that's like, I grew up working in kitchens, and I grew up, my dad was a general contractor. I come out and visit him, so I was swinging a hammer when I was 8 years old, and I was working in kitchens, and that's why you have that, yes, chef. Do you have it? Have it. You know, if I'm passing you a skill saw, you don't just turn around and grab it. I pass it to you and you go, have it? You go, have it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it falls on your foot, the blade cuts through your metacarpals, and you're fucked. Or if I'm passing you a giant French kitchen knife.
Right.
Have it? Yes, chef, have it. You know, like there's a response, there's a cadence that people have clear communication, talk with each other and get it done.
Yeah. Man.
We're actually looking at a construction site out here, and it's so much
cool.
what you're talking about. Yeah, they're building this giant studio. We're at Hill Dog Productions. Hilliard Guess likes to help us out and put us up, and they're building a new studio right across from Oprah's big
And
old
where
studio.
he records the Screenwriters Rant Room.
Yeah.
So you had a guest on the Screenwriters Rant Room.
Yeah, he was saying he wanted to bring me on.
That's
Yeah.
a fun thing, man.
I will
cool.
hit him up with the card they gave me, the cool card that he gave me.
For sure.
Yeah, he's a cool
Someone
dude.
like ska.
Oh yeah.
A little bit, huh?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
These guys are orchestrated as they build this building. There's giant pieces of metal swinging around, and
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna have Jeffrey Reddick in here later on today. He did the Final Destination movies.
Oh, did he?
You
He's
know,
the
this
writer
is-
of him, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he created it. I mean, this is the perfect setting for something horrible to happen. You know.
Oh, my God.
But there's someone who's orchestrating.
Yeah, there's saws
this.
and rebar sticking up and all
Right.
kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and there's concrete being pumped, and you could die and get buried, and no one would even know it.
No one
for a
would
couple of
know.
days,
Yeah.
and you'd be the guy who's buried in there.
I would kill to go up on one of those cranes.
Oh,
and you
man.
know that they've got the guys up there in the cranes, they've got a glass floor in the bottom.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and I'm a chicken with heights, because I would just shit myself to be up there, but there's
Right.
part of me that think that would be the coolest thing in the world. And it's a young man's job, because apparently their eyes have to be so crisp on how to move things around. It's like this incredible giant transformer ballet. It's cool.
It's also a young man's job because they have better control of their bowels. I mean, if there's a glass floor on that thing, there better be a squeegee and a lot of Windex up there too.
They also help out with the orchestration of things. You know, if someone's slipping on their safety and they've lost attention, that guy stops what he's doing and says,
Oh, do they?
yeah, you have to fix this guy.
That's
You know?
cool.
Yeah, because ultimately they're swinging the big piece of thing around. It's on them if someone gets hurt, ultimately.
Yeah.
You know, they're sort of the overseer.
It's amazing how much filmmaking and construction are the same.
Boy, okay.
You know, because you are building. And
Yeah.
really, if you're building someone's surroundings, you do have an end in mind. And there are a lot of moving pieces to get that end in mind. And that end in mind might be a gorgeous fireplace with a view of whatever, or it might be a piece of film that moves you emotionally. But, you know, it's the same thing when it comes to there's a bunch of unions.
Yes.
There's a bunch of ways that you can cut corners, but you better be careful.
Well, there's union laborers. You
Yeah.
think the most simple job out there? No, You've got guys that need to put the stuff in there. You know, everything's got to be staged and set up so that
You mean guys who have to pay off their student loans at USC.
yes. And those guys are out there working, and the guy who orchestrates it, who's like Zach, he's like, I need to know that my 4x4s are going to be where they're supposed to be because I don't got fucking time
Yeah.
to go over here and that little bit.
Yeah, because if your materials aren't where they need to be when they're supposed to be there, then all the guys who are standing around waiting to work can't work, and if you don't have something for them else for them to do,
Right.
they can't fall back. And I just lost a day of 10 guys with a thumb up their butt, and that's like at least $200 a day,
Right.
per person.
Right.
So I just lost $2,000,
Right.
and I'm a day behind.
Yep.
And that compounds, and it's
Yeah.
the same thing on a film set.
And it doesn't get you by the things that are going to happen anyhow. The things where you're like, I can deal with problems, just don't give me extra ones.
Yeah.
Now imagine when you have that problem compounding and you've lost all that time and you've got to shoot a whole feature film in 14 days.
Dude, we had one day we did 14 pages in a day. And I don't know if the people out there understand this, but like big budget feature films might do a page a day.
Right.
In the movie Saving Private Ryan, there's a little piece of dialogue.
Yeah.
A stage direction in the script, because I auditioned for it. Obviously, I did not get it. But it said, they stormed the beach. That was 20 fucking minutes of movie, bro. That was like movie history, right?
Yeah.
They stormed the beach. That was it.
Wow.
That was it.
Yeah.
So, we had 14 pages in one day. Which was our top of the pops, and you're just constantly trying to rock and roll and trying to compress scenes, compress setups, but maintain a cinematic style, so that you don't lose the artistic value of the film when you're losing time, and you're constantly looking at certain moments how to shoot it differently. We have a scene in Restoration where, I'm not gonna say who it's, somebody comes running back into a house and they start packing a bag for whatever reason, and it's very frenetic. And my first AD was like, "Oh yeah, we'll just do a handheld over his shoulder as he opens the drawers and starts pulling all the clothes."
Make it feel frenetic.
And I was like, "No, and by the way, you're not directing the fucking movie, so shut the fuck up." That might be what you want to do,
Right.
and I get it if you're doing that at Asylum. That's fine. Nobody cares. I'm not doing that. I want to have a shot. My goal is to do something like Fincher, not like Asylum.
Right.
And I respect Asylum because they're a great school for creating people getting the opportunity. But I don't want to take the easiest way out for the safety of time. So I set up a slider. I changed the shot dynamic. I'm reframing the shot inside the shot throughout a hallway, and I want to give it a sense that when you look at it, there's an eye there.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not going to just take the fast and easy way out, because then if you do that, then the whole movie looks like meh.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the movie's going to look like Fincher, because that's kind of the top of the pops, man. The guy's a god, but I got to fight for that every chance I get.
Right.
Otherwise, I never will.
Yeah.
And even if I fail, if I fight for every shot best I can, then I have a chance. And it doesn't mean that you're you're not a diva director, like, I need 15 pieces of coverage of this and like that. There's certain things that I did in this movie in order to save time. And there's a great YouTube channel called Every Frame a Painting. And I'll be honest with anybody who's listening, when I was directing the movie, I was constantly watching this channel because he talks about directors and their techniques and he breaks them down. And so I'm stealing every good fucking idea I can.
Right? Wow.
Because I see how it can work into my film.
Yeah.
So I'm looking through the lens of their experience every chance I can. And there's a couple of shots where I did a couple of scenes where I did a Spielberg oneer. Now, Spielberg oneer is very unlike, it's very simple. He barely moves the camera. You don't even notice that it's a single shot. So you don't even notice it's a single shot by the camera. Like, whereas with Casino or Boogie Nights, those are glamorous oneers and they're amazing. But his stuff is like on the back of, in Jaws, he has a camera on sticks on a on a ferry, and the chief and a bunch of guys from the town are there, and the dolly takes off while they're on it, and this sails around wherever the fuck they're going, and goes to the next place, and it barely moves back and forth, but because there's so much busyness about the ferry moving, these guys have been blocked out. It's a single fucking shot. It saves a ton of time.
Yeah.
And it looks great.
Yeah.
And you're caught it because he blocked it properly. So when we hit time crunches, I tried to okay, what can I steal? Can I do a Spielberg oneer here? Can I compress this shot? Do I have to do 4 setups? Because if I do it this from profile, I have to do A, B, and C. If I do it on like a 130 mil lens, and I can tell a photo pull back as it's coming in. I can blend this, and I'm done, and we're out of this shot, and it looks titties. Okay, so I'm not going to take the cheap way out. I'm going to try. It's less expensive, because I don't have so much time spent on the setups.
Right.
But I'm trying to
But you
come up
get
with
one
the
shot at
elegant,
it. Yeah.
I'm trying to find out with elegant solutions to low amounts of money and not a lot of time.
Right. And still capturing the feel, still grabbing the emotion.
Exactly.
Man.
Exactly.
So you've been a lot more thoughtful in the years since you played a bully.
Yep.
About the filmmaking process, man.
Well, when you're, I've had the honor of being on some amazing sets. Cameron Crowe is a sweetheart of a man and a great director. Steven Spielberg I've worked with. He's a lovely man, great director. Gobet, incredibly talented director. His technical stuff is fantastic. Personally, he's not really nice, but he's known about that. And I've also had the great opportunity to work with some really shitty directors.
A great opportunity. That's a good way to put it.
It is. And you watch people who just walk on the set and don't know dick, haven't done any prep, and don't seem to give a fuck. And they love sitting in that big chair with the word director on the back, and they don't want to do any of the work. And, man, I would cut off a toe to be doing like a $5 million movie as a director. And I'd be so high on that opportunity, I wouldn't be able to sleep for months. And I've watched these guys walk around like, I guess we're doing this. It's like, fuck you, dude. So when you watch guys do that, my attitude was, I may not be Fincher before I die, but I'm sure as fuck better than this ass clown.
Yeah.
So I might as well go out and do it.
Well, the other thing about it is, that's all we can do is just strive to be our best.
Yeah.
And then you never know that your best becomes, holy shit, that's the new standard. And like you said, it's like those days when you're overwhelmed because all that bullshit lands on you, and then you have that day where you're overwhelmed because, wow, I had no idea that I was going to have this great fortune land in my lap.
Yeah. And it is a weird one too, man, because it's not like my girlfriend will tell you, like there were times when I was editing this film where I literally was in tears. I was like, I can't make this work. This is completely fucked. My script continuity person wasn't tracking hand movement. So now I've got magic mugs showing up in other shots and nothing's matching.
Wow.
Oh, fuck, dude. And then my first AC, that's the person who pulls focus, is buzzing the focus. So, like, it's in focus, it's out, it's in focus, it's out, it's in focus. So these are on, like, so I lost like 30% of all my shots.
Wow.
That's a fuck ton, dude. So, but then a friend of mine gave me really good advice. He's like, Perry Teo, he's a film director. His stuff looks beautiful. His eye is amazing. He's like, Zach, the first movie is the one you write. The second movie is the one you shoot. The third movie is the one you edit. The fourth movie is the one you do when you do the score to. Because each one is a new invention.
A new discipline, yeah. And they build upon.
And you can't, like, when you write it and you have expectations, and then you shoot it and you have to change those expectations based upon your money, your time, your locations, your actors, whatever. Then you go to edit it, and now you're seeing what you actually have from the whole shooting process.
Sure.
And you have to take whatever that is, and you have to make it work.
Yeah.
And then it goes into music,
Sure.
and the whole thing changes because scenes that might have seemed meh, now the score comes underneath, and now you're
brought it to life.
Exactly. So you have to keep on letting go of your expectations from the prior stage of development, and just take what you have and turn it into something and be okay with that. It's humiliating.
Well, that's also
humbling.
a seasoning step too, that you've got to be able to accept that.
Yeah.
So you could take the pieces that you learned from Michael Bay and from Steven Spielberg and know that I've got this tool and this tool, and you might be able to create your own little Cipino that's unique but wonderful. But then you got to go in and make the next part of the movie when you do all the different steps, and each time you've got to give something up. You just have to.
And so you got to give up. You got to give up your ego about what it's supposed to be to a certain degree. I mean, not if you're those guys. Not if you're the gods of filmmaking. They're like, nah, just throw another 10 million at it. We'll fix it.
Yeah,
but
you don't have that luxury.
I don't have that luxury. But at the same time, sometimes you find happy accidents and things start to evolve and bubble up because before, when you wrote the script, people read and go, yeah, script. All right, I really like it. It was a really good script.
Yeah.
Then you shoot the script and like, oh, that scene is great. Then you edit it, and now they're actually seeing it. It's a rough cut, so it's going to be a little fat, a little slow. You're going to trim it up. It's not color corrected yet. It doesn't have any VFX, doesn't have any sound, Foley, dialogue sweetening or, any of that stuff. So there's still a lot of ways to go, but people start to see it. So your team that you're working with starts to see your vision of what was in your head.
Yeah.
And like, ooh, so that thing, well, could you do this? And you're like, actually, I don't want to do that because of this, but that is a good idea for over here. And then it starts to kind of, you get more seasoning in the stew.
Right.
Yeah.
It starts to live with itself
Yeah.
and becomes a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. I'm really happy with Restoration as my first directorial debut. It's a feature film. I'm really happy with it. I know that there's always going to be things in it that could have been better, absolutely, but there's some real good in there. And my mom's in the movie.
Wow.
She was 79 years old when she shot. She's 80 now. She kills it. She's awesome.
Yeah.
Your mom, as we're doing show prep, your mom has a fantastic resume as an actor. I mean, you truly do come from a family that's been in this art for a long time. It amazes me the people that we get to talk to and the level of craftsmanship that you guys all display, whether you're an actor or a writer, or I've got a lot of time in combat zones. I've got a lot of friends that are warriors, but it's all about those details, getting those single things right, going slow, smooth, then fast. You know? All those things resonate across every guest that we have. And it's just cool to hear that your mom's nailing it, because of course she's going to do it, but she nails it because she's a pro. She's a pro.
Yeah.
And you want pros around you. I love hearing that. I mean, that goes to what John and I, when we do our show, there'll be times we're just shaking our head like, oh, this show just is, and we've proven that we have no idea what a good show is, because the shows that we think, it's going to be okay, but not great.
Well, we'll just put it up.
That show will go through the roof, and we're like,
What happened?
we don't know. We still don't know what we're doing, As much as we know, you just can't tell all the time when you
can tell what you like.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's like, man, I really, really thought that show was flat, and it connected with somebody. But the thing that I think we can always go back to is, and I think that the message that you're talking about in direction and in filmmaking in general is, as long as you're always conscious of the best that you can put out, and that you strive to get the people around you to go on the ride with you.
Yeah.
And to go on the ride with you with the kind of intensity and the kind of focus that you have, you got shot. It's great to hear the success of Restoration being in the top 10 in iTunes, and that it's been there for a little while, and
for a fucking month. Dude.
Yeah.
That's solid.
It's nuts. We hit number 10, then Deadpool came out, we dropped down to like 140, and then we got to 9, 8, 7, 6, then Jaws was 6, and we went to 7, then we beat Jaws and went to 6.
Wow.
And then you're looking at like the Krampus was number 3, and not a great movie, but $15 million film.
yeah.
With like 20 million P&A, and then probably like a
And here's your film that you
$500,000
shot in, how long did you shoot?
14 days.
14 days. 14 pages in a day sometimes.
Yeah,
And
just crazy.
yeah. So, and that's the thing, is it's great to hear about the success and that everybody's kind of digging it. But it's really great to hear that you made your directorial debut and you're happy with it.
Yeah, I learned a lot. And I can't wait to get to work on the next one.
What's the next one?
Not sure yet.
Okay.
There's a bunch of different options, but I just, the next ones, I've got scripts that I've written that I want to make, but I also have opportunities where I'm being hired as a director. And so I want to make sure that I step into them and have a little bit more prep. I have a good idea of where I want it to go.
So who's someone out there that you'd love to work with? Like, I'd love to direct this person and tell this kind of story.
I don't know. I've never been asked that question. I haven't thought about it. Right now, I'm focusing on making content and generating the next opportunity, because I'm still at that indie level where, work begets work. I do write, and I'm hired to write other scripts and so forth, just like your friend here. But yeah, I want to get back on the set and start directing the next film, and I'm not sure what it is. I have one that I want to do, but I can't really talk about it, unfortunately.
Sure. Too close.
Yeah.
Do you have a genre that you like that you maybe haven't gotten into yet, or
Comedy. I've written some comedies. I love doing them. The only reason I didn't go that way in the beginning is because they don't travel very well. They don't sell overseas.
Yeah.
Because it's a cultural thing.
Right.
The jokes just don't
Things
translate.
are funny here that aren't funny somewhere else.
Well, yeah, and if you're translating it, if it's a language dynamic, and you're making jokes, I don't know how well that would go over in the Philippines or Germany or the UK when they don't share the same sense of comedy timing. So I'd like to get into comedy because I love doing Titus for 3 years, and I love doing stand-up. So
We were surprised that Titus did 50-something episodes.
54, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if it's comedy that we can look forward to seeing from you, hopefully we see it from you sometime soon. I think that'd be cool. Good. Yeah.
That'd be fun. Right now, trying to build my resume, there's a fact that horror films do travel really well.
Yeah.
And the thing I do love about horror films...
Being scared is a universal emotion.
It is. But what I love about the horror films is they actually have drama in them. They have comedy in them. They have action films.
There's room for everything.
Yeah. It falls into that category of the stakes are raised because there's a supernatural or a creepy thing that's going on. That I can get done easier, faster than I can, like, I'm the funny guy. Let me direct a comedy.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a little harder.
And there's almost like an instant cult status with the horror movie because there are so many fans specifically of that genre.
Yeah.
We had on a guy that I grew up with in my hometown named Todd Nunes. He directed a movie called All Through the House. It's a horror movie, and he's always, ever since we were kids, always been into horror. But yeah, he wrote it. He's like, I'm just going to do a callback to the 80s horror movies. And we're gonna make this movie. And like you said, he's indie. That begat more work, and he's just going crazy. But it's just it's a sweet spot where and he knows what he's doing. So if you know what you're doing, you put a good movie together, it's gonna do all right. Because the fans of that genre are gonna continue to support it. And they're not just gonna watch it once. They're gonna watch it.
Also, it's a horror movie and a Christmas movie, which you've had some success with as well.
Yes. And his sister was in it, and she also was on the show too. So Ashley and Todd, we love you guys.
Right on. Well, yeah, we've had you for more time than we got you to promise us, man. We really appreciate you.
Oh, this was fun. This was fun. Thank you for having me over.
How can everybody get in touch with you? Twitter handle?
Twitter is at Total Zack Ward, and that's verified. So you see a little blue check mark. It's me. It's not someone being a skeevy creeper. Yeah. And then there's a Facebook, Zack Ward, and it's verified as well. And I don't want to sound pretentious. The verifications help. Yeah. Because you'd be shocked how many fan sites I have. I don't know why, but people pretend to be me, which is just creepy.
Yeah. Well, you're iconic. That's why.
Oh, is that it?
You nailed it. Yeah. You're an icon. Absolutely.
Nice. But yeah, check me up on Facebook and Twitter, and Instagram is Total Zack Ward as well. So that's pretty much me. But that one's not verified. I don't know how to get that done.
Well, we'll put links up on the show page as well. But in the meantime, thank you, man. Director, actor, writer, producer,
funnel cake maker,
can ride a unicycle, juggle. Zack Ward, thank you, man.
Thank you, guys. A pleasure.
All right.